Hey guys, welcome to Project Management World. We are back with another video. In this video, we're gonna discuss about how to solve situational type questions in PMP exam. So we will cover some of the question as well at the end of the slides. Because if you see these days in the PMP exam, many questions comes as a situational type questions, and there is a strategy, there is a trick, and there is a process to solve that questions. Before jumping into that, if you are new to channel, I would like you to please subscribe the channel and press that bell icon so that whenever I upload the new video, you can get the latest update. So this is the topic of the today: how to answer situational questions in your PMP exam. There are two steps to solve the situational type questions, and one first step has some categories as well. So we will cover all these one by one. So what is the step one? We have the choose the category of the question and answer accordingly. Two categories from where situational question comes. So we have category 1 and category 2, and if you see, the category 1 tells about the ideal project manager behavior. So the question which is from category 1, his answers lies between the ideal project manager behavior, and the category 2 we have is the prioritization and sequences. So this is related to the processes from the ITTOs or the change management processes. All these things are considered in the category 2. So we will further detail it out in the next slides. So step 2 we have is the positive biased principle. Every answer option is correct unless you have a strong reason to reject it. So positive bias principle is nothing but you have to see all the answers carefully and considering in mind that this may be correct unless you have a correct or solid reason to reject it. It is similar to the elimination technique that I have prepared a separate video for that. So yeah, these are the two steps to answer the situational type question. Let's see what are the type of categories we have under the step 1. Is the step 1, which is categories, and we have these two categories. So if you can see here, so category 1 which talks about the ideal project manager behavior. So the example of there, some questions are like, should the PM do? PM means project manager. What is the best course of action? What should have been done? These are the questions that you may see in your PMP exam, and if you see these type of terminology at the end, you can easily classify that this question belongs to category 1, which is about the ideal typical project manager behavior. So answers lies between the project manager behavior and what is the project manager ideal behavior, we will discuss in the next slide. So let's see the category 2. Category 2 talks about the prioritization and sequencing. Example of the questions are, we have, if you see any kind of question which is asking what is the next step, what is the next best course of action, what is the next logical step, what will you do next as a PM. So whenever you see the next word in the question it is asking, so this belongs to category 2, and that belongs to the sequencing and prioritization of the activities. So you must need to remember those processes, ITTOs of each chapter we have read. For example, risk management, cost management, schedule management. So you should have a basic understanding of that, like what comes after what. So if you see any situational type question in the exam, so first step will be to categorize that, like whether it belongs to category 1 or it belongs to category 2. Let's see like what is the ideal project manager behavior. So here are the points which covers the ideal project manager behavior. Ideal project manager behavior, he owns up the issues and problem himself rather than delegations. Escalation is the last resort for him. So this is the first point we have. Project managers own the responsibility and he take the action, like if he needs to escalate, then that will be a last option for him. Initially he will try to solve the problem by himself. Second point we have is the holds the scope sacrosanct while driving a project. So this is the second point. Third one we have knows how to prioritize to meet the best interest of the project and the company. So if you see here, like project manager is not selfish related to project, he also thinks thinks about the interest of the project and the company, because ultimately project manager is also a employee of the company. And next we have is the never bypass step processes documentation to accelerate delivery or closure. This is quite important. To get the things done early, you do not need to bypass the processes or any documentation as a project manager. Next one we have is always proactive rather than reactive, and always has a plan B. We have is the questions and analyze every change request critically. So whenever project manager sees any change request, he questions that, analyze that, and then take the next step. And the next one we have puts his team before himself and demonstrates servant leadership. So project manager is a servant leader as well, and he is so selfless that he put his teams for himself and invest sufficient time to identify and engage stakeholders. Engaging the stakeholder is the key term here. So he engaged with the stakeholder, invest time there as well. Holds safety, quality, and governance non-negotiable during a project. So as a project manager, you need to ensure all these things: safety, quality, and governance. So holds every department accountable for their tasks. So project manager is a servant leader, but yes, he also holds every department accountable for their task. Communicates at right time to right people, the right information in the right way. That are the 4 R's. Last point we have knows and exercises authority and credibility in the right way to ensure best interests of all. So these are the ideal project manager behavior. And whenever you see the situational type question in the exam, read the question stems, like what it is asking. If it is asking from what should be the next step, next thing, what do you do next, then it is from category 2. But if it is asking the question related to what should a project manager do, what should a PM do, it belongs to category 1, and the answers lies between these 12 project manager behavior. So this will help you to answer the question if that belongs to category 1. Yes, so we covered all the points that are needed to answer a situational type question in PMP exam. So first step is to categorize the question whether it belongs to category 1 or category 2. So if it belongs to category 1, you need to refer the ideal project manager behavior, and if it belongs to category 2, then you need to go to the processes, ITTOs. So now let's go through the problems. We have some example of questions here, so we will solve a couple of questions related to each category 1 and category 2 using these steps. So let's jump into that. Let's read the statement first. So a construction project is ready for closure, but a vendor claims that they have not received the payment for a particular delivery yet. Okay, you check the invoice and find out that it was approved and sent for payment to the finance department. You check with the finance department, they tell you that the vendor had made some mistake in calculating the tax in the invoice. So you want to close the project quickly because your sponsor is pushing you to take up another project soon. So what should you do? So if you see the last line of this question, what should you do? So this belongs to category 1, and that belongs to the ideal project manager behavior. And now next step is to positive bias principle, is to read all answers, considering in mind that every answer is correct unless you have a correct, or you can say valid reason to reject that option. So now let's do the second step. In A, we have tell the vendor to sort it out with the finance department, you take up the new project. So option A, something looks like you are avoiding the responsibility as a project manager, and which is not a behavior of a project manager. Option A is eliminated from here. So option B, we have closed the project since you had already found that invoice was approved. It is the vendor's problem if they had made mistake in calculating tax. This looks like a communication gap between the finance department and the vendor. That was the reason that you have not paid the payment yet. So this is also not ideal project manager behavior. So this option is also ruled out from here. And now option C, we have ask support from the finance department to help the vendor submit a new invoice with correct text structure and delay the project closure till the issue is solved. So this looks like a good option, so let's hold it for now because you have one more option left. And the D, option D, it is onboard your sponsor about the situation and obtain his approval to close the project and move to the new project. So if you have gone through the project ideal project manager behavior, you have seen there that escalation is the last option for the project manager. So option D is not a good option here. Suitable option for this question looks like it is C. Now let's jump to the project manager behavior. Manager is acting as a servant leader because he is communicating with the finance department. This is the one point he is covering, and the next one has he never bypass steps, processes and documentation to accelerate delivery or closure. In the option C there is written delay the project closure till the issue is solved. So here he is not doing any shortcut, he is following the proper process. He will get the correct invoice from the vendor, then the finance department will close that, and then the vendor will get the actual money. After that he will close the project. So this is how this option suits here, like never bypass steps, processes, documentation to accelerate delivery or closure. This is the fourth point under ideal project manager behavior. Right answer we have is the option C. So this is how you can solve the question, situational type question, if that belongs to category 1. So now let's jump to the category 2 question as well. So we have one more example. Question is you are a project manager for the launch of an aviation turbine. The timeline of this launch is extremely critical since the date has been communicated to the media and the shareholders. You have analyzed the work that needs to be done and has come up with the list of activities. You consulted with your sponsor as well to identify any important milestone that you need to meet. What is the next best course of action as a PM? So after reading the last line, you can easily get that yes, this question belongs to category 2, which talks about the processes, ITTOs and the sequence of the activities. First step, you have identified the category. Next step is to read out all the options and then eliminate the wrong ones. So if you read the question carefully, so there is a line written that he has come up with a list of activities. So he is under schedule management and he has listed the activities, which means he has defined the activities. And if you follow the schedule management processes, what are the processes under schedule management, then you will find, if you can see here, there are 5 processes under schedule management. First one is the schedule management planning. Second one, definition of task. This is what the project manager has done in the question. Third one, we have sequencing of tasks, then estimate the duration, and then final one we have the development and control of the schedule. So if you see, we are into the defined activities, and it is asking about what is the next best course of action. So now let's read out the question, options as well. So create project schedule. So this option is not right, because creating schedule is the last step, last process of schedule management. This is the process number 5 under the schedule management. So this option is ruled out from here. Then we have perform define activities process. So if you see, we are already completed that define activity, so this option is also eliminated from here. So now option C here is the consult your PM plan to identify how to handle any schedule changes. So option C is also not correct, because this is not the next step after the define activities. So let's also rule out this option. So option D and the final we have is the figure out the dependency between the activities and create a network diagram. So if you can see here, the schedule management process, you see after definition of task, the process 3 is sequence of tasks. So this is what it is talking about. Figure out the dependency, that is about sequences, and create the network diagram. So option D was the right answer here. But along with that, you should also be aware about the sequence of the activities, about the processes, about the ITTOs. So this is how you can answer the situational type question in your exam. I hope this has helped you, and this will definitely help you, because I have also followed this technique to answer the questions, and you can see a lot of questions in your PMP exam which are situational type. So this is how you can solve the situational type questions in your PMP exam. And this was all about this video. I hope you have learned something, you have understood something from here, and this will help you a lot. Definitely, if you are preparing or planning to give a PMP exam, we will come back with other videos soon that will be related to PMP or project management. So keep supporting, keep watching, and keep working hard. Thanks, and have a good day.